Goes. Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Pennington, and
Mrs. Karen.
thank you so much for joining tonight. We're really, really excited to go over some of our updates from phase 2 and to talk a little bit about as we move forward into phase 3 and beyond. So we waited this week until Monday just because it was a busy weekend, and we are very excited. I cannot believe that we are in our 5th week of distance learning. It blows my mind that we are this far along, and one of the things that we really want to start to talk about is first update. Obviously, May 20th is the earliest we'll head back. So that came out last week, and I'm going to have Mrs. Karen talk a little bit as we start phase 3. One of the first really important components is around an instructional component added into distance learning, and that can look very different depending on the teacher. We have 3 different ways that we can provide an instructional component. One of those ways can be through live instruction. One of those ways can be through instructional videos, and we're going to talk a little bit today about a place where, if you are in grades K1 or 2, a place for you to go. Our K1 and 2 teachers have built a repository for instructional videos, and we are super excited to share that. As you know, phase 2 and phase 3 are created by a district team. And Mrs. Karen, why don't you take a minute or two to talk a little bit about that? If you have questions, you can post a comment. We're managing the comment page as well, so please feel free to ask a question as we are discussing.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. We appreciate you taking the time out of your night to be here with us. So yes, I'm part of the district team that has been creating the packets for K3 and the instructional materials for 4 and 5. And I just wanted to take a minute and tell you a little bit about that process and how it's working. So I think I mentioned last time that the teams are comprised of a school administrator, a member of the curriculum and instruction team from central office, and also some specialists. For example, the 3rd grade team has a STEM coach and a problem-based learning specialist on the team. We also have a writing coach. Some of the other teams have science coaches and so on. So the teams are diversified and represent all of the elementary schools in the district. So phase 3, the way that we've kind of approached the learning is by looking at the priority standards. So what does that mean? Well, we've had guidance from the district, as well as other educational resources as to what the priority standards are. The priority standards are the standards that we really want to ensure that our kids are being taught so that they are prepared for next year's education. So for example, in 3rd grade, one of the priority standards is 3 NFA, which is to develop an understanding of fractions. Our 3rd grade students are just finishing up that standard, and they'll be moving on to the next priority standard, which is a measurement and data standard, which is to solve problems involving measurement and estimation of intervals of time, liquid volumes, and masses of objects. So in addition to the teams focusing on the priority standards, they're also doing their best to align the instruction to the curriculum maps. As you know, at Rowayton, it's a special place, and we are not always at the same place as the district. For example, our 2nd grade students had already learned about beavers in science when most of the district had not. So that was included in the packets, even though our students have already seen a lot of that information, which is where our teachers come in, and especially this new instructional component. Our teachers are able to provide enrichment They're being guided by Dr. Bartling and Miss Maxwell, our writing and science coaches, as well as Rob and myself on how they can enrich that learning. If you noticed on the packets when you receive them, on the side, there's also a column that has scaffolding that you can access. So it's not a perfect science. We hope we're getting better as we go. Like Rob mentioned, our K2 teachers have developed distance learning websites, which I believe he's going to put the website in the chat box for you. I believe. You can also go to the Rowayton School website and click on more, and there is a distance learning tab. And under that, you'll see websites for kindergarten, first, second grade, and GT. And in addition to having the PDFs of the packets that you're receiving, you're also going to find pre-recorded lessons. And honestly, I'm so impressed with what they've done. So if you get a minute, check them out. Let's see. One other thing. So as you know, Rob and I and the teachers are really trying to make sure that we still are connected with all of our families, because we do truly, truly miss you all, and we want to make sure that we are all on the same page in this journey. So we have set up for tomorrow night a not professional development, a family development, a math night with Greg Tang. Greg Tang is a very well-known mathematician and consultant who provides a lot of professional development for the teachers, but is providing a parent night for families with students in grades 3 through 5. And it's going to be all around fractions and using the models that we've been teaching our students. So Rob sent out a link to sign up for that. We will send that again to make sure you have it. It's a private Zoom. There are only 90 some odd spaces available, so it's going to be first come, first serve for who has signed up, and we'll email that Zoom link out tomorrow. And I'm sorry that was long-winded. That all? You got anything else that you want me to address, Rob?
I think that's great. I did share into the chat box the link to where they can find all of the websites. They are on our Rowayton School page. Please make sure that you go through Norwalk Public Schools and then select Elementary Schools Rowayton to find that correct website, because we updated that page. So we want to make sure that you find the correct page. I do want to address the packets. I know that the packets are a big issue, and this is for students in grades K through 3. The packets are outsourced, and so were sent. I found out today they were sent 10 days ago, and you should have received them. I know that there are a plethora of families who did not receive them. I appreciate your patience and flexibility. I will be bringing those by and dropping those in mailboxes tomorrow, and so that you can make sure that you have what you need for distance learning. It is unreasonable for us to ask anyone to print those. So we will be, I'll be coming around and I'll just put them in your mailbox. I might give you a call and let you know that I've done that. So that will be tomorrow. Please make sure that you send me an email. I know that a lot of you have sent information to teachers. I just don't want to miss anyone, because I'm going to be sending them to FedEx Express to get printed in the morning, and then pick them up, and we'll deliver them around 10:30 whenever they say that they are ready to go. So I just want to make sure that that is just ready at that point. In terms of a technology update, I do want to provide a technology update for you. And that is, if you are having any issues with your Chromebook, your power cord, your sound, your microphone, the Technology Hub at 350 Main Avenue, Norwalk, it's the old Pathways or Briggs. That is the Technology Hub garage where there will be servicing devices. Please let me know. I have a Google form that I have to complete, and then it will be sometime Wednesday or Thursday that you can go and take care of your device. So we just want to make sure that you are taken care of with your technology needs over distance learning. And our different grade levels have provided updates. And so we're going to take turns and we're going to talk a little bit about different grade levels. And like I said, if you have questions, please feel free. We'll talk a little bit. I did get a couple questions via email, which I think is great. I appreciate that. And, I talked a little bit already about phase 3, which has started today, and that instructional component. As we keep going, we are going to be adding more and more features to our work that we are doing with our students. So we started with an instructional component. Our next phase is to provide small group instruction. We want to make sure that we are meeting students' needs and we're differentiating the best of our ability through distance learning. We know that children are all at different levels. And so that will be starting very shortly, where we'll be pulling small groups via Zoom or Google Meet. We are trying to make more of a connection with Google Meet simply because of its connection with Google. They just made an update actually that ties Google Meet right to Google Classroom. So in grades 3 through 5, that is available. But at the same time, Zoom is still a great tool that we are using. The one thing you've probably noticed is the password. They are password protected now, and that's to prevent someone from Zoom bombing. I'm sure you've heard of Zoom bombing happening across the country. So that password does protect our students and classrooms. So that's one other piece that I just want to make sure that we highlight. And one of the questions that I did receive was in terms of assessment. Every grade's going to be doing something a little bit different. I know one grade is going to be connecting with students throughout the week to provide some like exit slips or to have them read a passage. And that'll be one of the ways that we are starting to assess. If you're using Google Classroom, there is that back and forth connection with work, so that there is feedback being provided and conversations around that work should be happening. So these are just some of the little pieces that we are, as we progress into phase 4 and then phase 5, we are adapting as we go. This is definitely something that we are building the plane while we're flying it. And, I'm super impressed with the work our teachers and our staff have done. So I do want to, just say that. And like I said, we are constantly assessing and reassessing to be better for our families. And, people that have sent me questions or comments, that is just helping us to be better for our students. So I appreciate that. Let's start with some of our updates. For kindergarten, each class has its own page, but lessons are from the kindergarten teachers. So do have their website. It's up and running, which I think is great. They have read alouds, they have website links, they have videos, brain breaks. There's a lot of different components. It is important. We are using Raz Kids, and we are recommending Raz Kids for 20 minutes a day. What's great about Raz Kids is that it is differentiated. So teachers are hand selecting based on your child's reading ability, and they're able to monitor that and provide some feedback around that. So it's a really great tool. The kindergarten team appreciates all of the daily communication from families, and they want to thank all the families for working together as they embark on this new type of learning. If you have any questions, please reach out to your classroom teacher, and they miss you very, very much.
All right, I'm going to share the first grade update with you, but I'm going to say something first. Hopefully Rob doesn't mute me, but we keep talking about how proud we are of the teachers and the staff, but I feel like Rob needs a shout out too, because he is 24/7, our tech support, our emotional support, our delivery man. He is amazing. So I'll stop before he mutes me. Yeah. but seriously, we're pretty darn lucky to have him. Okay, so first grade, they also wanted you to check out the website. They said that the videos that they have posted will be familiar routines for your students, so that will be hopefully helpful for them. Again, just like kindergarten, they're encouraging Raz Kids and Symphony Math, and they're asking that you please try to join Zoom meetings whenever possible. I know how much they're missing your kiddos, and they love seeing them and being able to interact with them through that. And also mentioned, which Rob had mentioned earlier, that we have small group instruction coming soon. So we're excited about that.
All right, second grade update. Please check out their new Google website. They did create a new Google website. They have literacy and math that are going to be posted on Mondays and Wednesdays, and writing and science are going to be posted on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they are going, keep that up. There's going to be instructional videos there. And if you need any support, please reach out to them. They're there for you. Okay.
All right. Rob, I see in the comments, can you share the Greg Tang sign up link, please? Thank you. All right. So third grade said to let you know that their Google Classroom will be the place to go for all new learning materials and videos going forward. They also mentioned how much they miss everyone. And again, they're just reiterating as often as possible to kind of stick with the schedule. The routine is really helpful for our kids right now. So they had a short update. Rob, back to you.
I was posting the link for Greg Tang. I think it broke it down into 2 different posts, but that's okay. The link is there to register for Greg Tang if you are interested. Tomorrow, 4:00. Really, I'm super excited. He is definitely a math guru, and we are lucky that we are able to have that event. So, fourth grade, the fourth graders have spent the past 2 weeks building background knowledge for their science unit on biomimicry. This week, they dig deeper to explore the essential question, what is biomimicry, and how have humans learned from observing nature in their reading and writing, as well as science. In math, students will be reviewing and practicing multiplication of 2-digit numbers. So that is another, great connection. I love that everything is interconnected in fourth grade.
For fifth grade, they wanted to reiterate that the Zoom chats are extremely important. So they're highly encouraged that you sign on to the Zoom chats. Math is being assigned through Think Central. They asked that you please make sure that your child is following the schedule and the sequence that it's assigned. Some of the work they need to complete is based on videos or articles that need to be either watched or read first. And that will be helpful in limiting too much confusion. They also said to please continue to use the assignment schedule and classroom to check your child's work.
They also wanted to add in, if something's taking longer to do, but it's time for your special, to go to your special, work on that, and then come back and complete that work later, because we want to be respectful of specials. Everything for specials is going to, there is that specific schedule for 4th and 5th grade, and the teachers are there in the Google Classroom to support your students during that time. Please make sure that you are using the class link. Everything that students will need is through the class link. And so we just want to make sure, sometimes students will say that they can't find it or they can't get in, and it's because they're not going through class link. So really want to just make sure that you take time to go through class link. Really important. Go ahead, specials.
All right. Specials. They ask that you continue checking the YouTube channel for new videos in art, library, and music. I think Rob pretty much said all this, but I'll quickly reiterate grades 3 through 5. Their lessons are posted in the Google Classroom. You can check them during your specials time block, and the specials teachers will be there to answer questions or just say hello. And grade 2, K through 2, your lessons are in the packets. You're also more than welcome to email them to say hi or show the work. I know some people have been emailing pictures of their work to the specials teachers, and they love it. They love to see it. So keep that up.
And then in terms of Miss Meg and Miss Danielle, that they are posting YouTube lessons 3 times a week. They're meeting with students every single day, so please join in. Miss Meg also has Rowayton Buddies on Thursdays at 12:15. It's a great great place to be, so please make sure that you get an opportunity. Tell your students if they participate. It's a lot of fun. I know Mrs. Karen's been there, and so have I. So that is a little bit in that regard.
Yeah, and keep checking out our 2:00 read aloud. We love interacting with all of you there. It's been really fun having some mystery readers come and surprise everyone. And we'll definitely keep doing that.
Do you have any questions to ask about phase 3 or as we move into phase 4? Like I said, we're constantly adapting and changing and trying to provide the best learning experience. It's not ideal for anyone. We know that. We're both parents. And but if you have any questions, please ask your questions. Let us know so that we can really just participate, answer. This is a great time. Rowayton Buddies, I do see a question about Rowayton Buddies. Rowayton Buddies is a group of it was the enrichment cluster that met with Miss Meg's class. And so that happens, it's a specific group of students that participate in Miss Meg's class. But if your child's interested, please maybe shoot her, Miss Meg Billmeyer, an email and she'll respond in that regard. I'm trying to think if we are missing anything else that we have going on. I really do appreciate all the work that you're doing as families. It's not a standalone, so there is a heavy lift on our families. So, and we know that. But we're constantly adapting and changing, and we'll have these every couple weeks. So, but don't wait for one of these. Come and talk with us, and that's a great. It's a great time. Just shoot us an email, ask us, and we're going to go, as we adapt. We have a couple questions. Good. How do we keep track of student progress and work that is done on the Google Classroom app? So with Google Classroom, there is a submit button, and it is something that they are turning into teachers. So the teachers are then analyzing that work and providing feedback. If they are missing anything, the teacher will reach out. You're welcome to also just check in with the teacher. Because that is a great piece that I think is important. Another question, curious if student work will be reviewed by teachers. So in 3 through 5, the work is through Google Classroom. So that will be, that is easier. As we go into K through 2, as we're transitioning into phase 4, we have started to talk about analyzing student work for progress, because we need to be able to look at our student work and see if students are progressing. So we're talking about what that's going to look like. Is that going to be through these one-to-one Zoom meetings or Google Meet meetings? Is that going to be parents taking pictures and sending in the work? We're still having that conversation, but yes, we need to be able to check in with students to see how they're doing, how they're progressing, but we also need to check their work. It's just what is going to be the highest leverage. We can't obviously check everything that's being done, but if we can look at the highest leverage standards and highest leverage assignments and really try and provide feedback and support around those standards and that work, that's our best bet, I think. Do you want to add to that, Mrs. Karen?
Yeah, just what Rob said, we're talking about that the district level as well. We're talking a lot about how we can celebrate the work that the kids are doing, because it's pretty amazing what they're accomplishing given our circumstances. And like Rob said, that's thanks very much in part to the families who are helping with that lift. But the same sort of ideas are coming out at the district level, talking about having parents submit work by taking pictures of it. It could be via Blooms, it could be via Google Drive or email. I know a lot of families are sharing pictures and things um, on Blooms, which we love. We love seeing that. The teachers do as well. But in terms of a formal way for the students' work to be reviewed, that is in progress.
Yes, like I said, as we're progressing, like you're going to see the instructional component in phase 3. As we move into phase 4, you are going to see the small group instruction. You are going to see some of those progress monitoring or checks with students because, you know, as this goes on, as we started, it was planned for 2 weeks. Planned for 2 weeks. And so as a school, we scrambled and we planned for 2 weeks. And then we went into phase 2 and the district said, we're going to streamline this because we're not allowed in buildings. We can't get materials. We can't roll this out in that regard. So it was, let's look at priority standard from where we were, and which turned into more of a review for phase 2. And now we're into new learning for the most part. There are a couple places where you can ask your students and they might say, oh, we've already talked about this. I think of second grade science and the beavers. I know that depending on the classroom, some were further along than others and some have already analyzed that, but that's where we're lucky. We have a writing coach / specialist. We have a science coach / specialist who is working with our teachers to provide more enrichment opportunities. Miss Mendez is, I do want to mention Miss Mendez. She is going to be working with different grade levels. I know grades 3 through 5. She is going to be providing weekly check-ins with the class where they are going to have the opportunity to share what their independent projects that they're working on. She's going to be doing some work in grade 2. So this whole idea of providing more of a differentiated support, because we know that all students are at different levels, and we're not naive in thinking that it's a one size fits all. So, I mean, from a district level, rolling out materials, they're looking at those standards and finding a one size fits all for standards. And then we are, as a school, trying to take that to the next level. PPTs, yes, PPTs are still being scheduled. It depends on the type of PPT that is being scheduled. If it is an annual review or a triennial, they are still happening. Some of the initial PPTs are not, just because then try and provide testing after that initial. Those have been put on hold at this point. So as we go through, we will make sure that we provide that support as well. The other, Miss Freed and Miss Mataferri, they are working with students. They are our resource team, and they're continuing to work. They said that they're, please participate in their Zoom sessions that they are offering. Our paras are reaching out and providing support. They have they're also, Miss Freed is going to be doing some co-teaching lessons with Miss Burrill. She wanted me to share that, and that'll be done over Zoom. And they're providing a great support as well for our students. And so really just trying to provide that support. I did have a question that asked about Google Classroom in first grade. And unfortunately, if I have one regret at this point, it is that the day that we were able to get back in the building, I wish I would have given every single child a device. It's something that I'm kicking myself for, and I wish I would have been ahead of that to get every single kid a device so that we could roll out things like that. There is that we do have kids that do not have them. If they open up the school at some point for a skeleton crew, I will be reaching out to K1 just to make sure that everyone can have a device, because it just opens up the door for more opportunities. And before we go, I do want to definitely just say that from a curriculum and instruction standpoint, I don't know where we'd be without Mrs. Karen. She tried to to jump ahead and throw that out, but from a curriculum and instruction standpoint, she's really been, meeting with our teachers and providing support throughout these distance learning days, and we couldn't do it without her. So any other questions before we go? I think 30 minutes is a good amount of time. I'm sure you have other things you want to do, but we just find it important to provide these updates, and this will save. So if people couldn't get here, the link will still take them to the live video, and then they can email us with any questions that they have. Hopefully you found this worthwhile, and we're here if you need anything. So anything, Mrs. Karen, any final words?
No, thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And like I said, we're going to have this every couple weeks. So as we move into phase 4 and we move into phase 5, these will be you'll see some of the changes that we mentioned tonight. Any questions about anything, please, please, please reach out. And we are definitely here.
Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for Greg Tang.
Greg, grades 3 through 5.
Yes.
But make sure, this is new, so I don't know if you've received it yet. Tomorrow we have a dance party. Our dance party is at 12 o'clock. You'll be getting a Google form where your child can select a song. And I'm excited. It's going to be something different. We are going to have a DJ board, digital DJ board, and some music. So please, 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 and it's something fun. 12 o'clock tomorrow, after all the learning has happened, come and dance around, and I'm excited for it. We can't have DJ Friday in the cafeteria, so we're going to have digital DJ Tuesday. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye. Thank you.